Welcome, Jabroni Killers, Vincenzo'S Gold Crypto Investing this June the 26th, 2025. And the reason you all are here is what's up on the screen right now, becoming asset millionaires via truth, trust, education, and information. And that's why you come to Old Vincenzo. That's why you bell notification, comment down below, like the channel, and share it to help spread the movement message and join me on my journey. And you will follow along as we together become asset millionaires via gold and silver bullion and mining stocks, cryptocurrencies. 401k steady investing is very important because it accumulates compounding interest and returns as you invest at varying prices over a long period of time. And it's another diversified way and another asset that you need to have in your tool bag in order to become an asset millionaire. And that's what I'm on my mission to become. And that's what Vincenzo'S Gold Crypto Investing is about. That's why you guys are all here. And that's why we're joining. Hitting that bell notification is cheap and easy as $3.99 a month. Video description and or pinned comments. And we use the gold and silver bullion and mining stocks, cryptocurrencies, the 401k investing. Real estate is another one because we understand monetary debasement that goes on with the criminal gangsters and henchmen at the Federal Reserve that have spread like a fungi throughout the United States government, Federal Reserve, and world banking system. And we use that and leverage that in order to make gains and returns on assets that appreciate via a depreciating US dollar, right? And that's what we do here, and that's why you're here. And if we look at the broader markets, what went on over the last couple of days, the US dollar has been under assault, brother! It's under assault by the criminal gangsters and market manipulators that are out there fleece heisting and shysting you and manipulating this market. And if we look at where the US dollar's been over the past 5 years, it's been in a decline. The US dollar all time has been in monetary debasement ever since the 70s. As we print money, we came out with the Federal Reserve Act in about 1913, give or take, don't quote me on the exact year. But that took the power of the money away from the people, and it became an inflationary incentive for the government as they stole your money and lend it out left and right, print it up on a computer screen, and debase your currencies and the assets that we buy, gold and silver bullion, at an all-time high as the US dollar is now below 97.34. It's on its way to 90 if it doesn't get support quick. The only thing that seems to be saving it recently in the last several years is geopolitical uncertainties with war, right? The rest of the world, because they use US dollars, still at the beginning of a war crisis, they dump into the dollar, but then it quickly fades away, right? And the trade starts to go back down. But assets that rise under currency debasement, real money, God's money, true money, the only money you can't print, gold bullion, silver bullion, you can see what gold bullion's been doing over the last 5 years. Gold bullion's been on a massive uptrend in the last 5 years. And old Vincenzo'S Gold Crypto Investing, to you members out here, we started making a call on gold bullion because we understand currency debasement, we understand fiscal and monetary policy from the criminal gangsters and the head henchman at the currency, Jerome Powell, who's in charge of the Federal Reserve right now. They're supposed to be a non-politically oriented group, but they operate politically oriented via when they have to go, when the administration needs them to do something, they bend and cave to the administration because they want to keep their job. But you can see what's been going on under currency debasement with gold bullion. You can see if we go out into the daily time frame, and if we take a look at this, you can see gold bullion's been on an epic bull run. Gold bullion's been on a essentially 4-decade-long bull run, and old Vincenzo came out here when we were getting towards the apex in 2020. We were coming up towards what is a cup and handle, and we were making another attempt finally from the 1200, and we were skyrocketing in here. Old Vincenzo came out just after this capitulation, right? Just after this local capitulation right here, old Vincenzo made his first video right in here in March and April of 2021, and we put an initial call on the price of gold bullion. We were very bullish on here. That's why it's Vincenzo'S Gold Crypto Investing, right? And we put a big call and a big number up here at a targeted move of, what do we have? $3,500. It's supposed to be $3,500 and change was our targeted move. And we've been on an epic bull run ever since then. the price of gold bullion's almost doubled because we understand currency debasement, right? We go into the monetary and fiscal policy. We're heavy investors in gold bullion. If you're members of Jabroni Killers, remember, video description or pinned comment, as cheap as $3.99 a month to help support the channel. You would have got my call on Palladium. I'm not a financial advisor. I just let my Jabroni Killer members know when I purchase or accumulate a new or an existing asset into my portfolio. And we made our initial buy 3 days ago on Palladium, and Palladium had initially surged. Today, it went up about 7% today. I believe the calendar has just flipped over. It did do a new day. But Palladium had a big run up today, about $80 on the day. And it had a big move, but Palladium is a very, very volatile metal, and I believe it's going to go back near its all-time high, which was just shy of $4,000 from a 2016 to a 2022 bull run before it had a 2.5-year 74% correction, which is normal, like you can see back here in 08 financial collapse. So you would have got that call. You would have understood. That's another reason to become members, because you will get when I buy and accumulate assets. If we look at the cryptocurrency prices, because I've been mumbling and meandering on here long enough, and we take a look at what's been going on in the XRP price, members of this community and members of this channel understand that we've been short to medium term bearish on the XRP price. If we center this a little bit, ever since we had this blow off top, and we're going to put that into the full screen. Ever since we had this blow off top back here at the 340 in mid-January after the Donald Trump induced hyper rally, we told you there would be better buying opportunities. We told members of Jabroni Killers, don't get fleece heisted and shysted if you never bought this asset, if you never participated in the bear market, if you weren't accumulating during the cycle bear market, which is important, especially in crypto. You had all this time to accumulate from the capitulation back here in late 2022 through 2023. You got the Judge Torres, a manipulated move with the news and her, bam, popping at 100% one day. We told you back there the price was coming back down. You had all the way up until November the 3rd of 2024 to accumulate this asset. If you weren't accumulating this asset and you were trying to buy it in the middle of a 8x pump from a cycle low of about 34 cents to 340, if you thought you were going to buy this on this horrendous euphoric rally to the upside and you were going to make money in the short term, you're out of your mind. Your chance to make money in this asset was accumulating in the bear market. You don't try to accumulate the blow off top. You're going to get slaughtered every time, and that's what the market manipulators want you to do. They want you to buy the top. That's why when you went to the YouTube, when you went to your favorite mainstream media, heister, gangster, and fleecer, they up here during this pump, they told you to buy, and the price of XRP before you knew it, and by now, was going straight to $4, straight to $6, straight to $12, and then to $100. And they wanted you to buy. Why do they prey upon you at the moments that you need them the most? The criminals, because they're paid to promote, they're paid to facilitate the fleece and the heist so they can walk away with all the hard-earned fucking money of the retail investor and trader, and that's you and me, and that's why I'm here, and that's why we take the slack. That's why this channel has been suppressed. We're stuck at the 2,000 subscribers because we are not always bullish. We are bullish when the time needs to be, but we are real with truth and trust when that needs to happen. When you guys come at your most vulnerable after an 8x pump, your emotions, you're watching all the money get made, you're missing out, you're walking away all hysteria and upset and don't know what to do. And then you jump on any crypto station that's criminally manipulated and they tell you to buy, they tell you to buy, they tell you to buy. They don't tell you there's a 60 to 70% correction coming to the downside, because that doesn't give them clicks, that doesn't get them paid, and that doesn't get the wealth that they want by fleecing the retail trader. But we come on here with the truth. We come on here with the cold hard facts and gave you that head and shoulders topping out reversal pattern. Right here at the 340 in this blue circle, early to mid-January, I came on here. All my Jabroni Killer members weren't shocked. They were prepared. They understood not to buy the top. They understood better buying opportunities. And again, we made this prediction when none of this was here. This was future. future, future, future. All that was future, and we remained consistent even with the swing lows to swing highs, testing a major upper resistance in the XRP price because the volume indicator was right there. You get above that, there's very little volume up there, so the price could shoot straight up. The contrary, look at the big gap you got between the $1.50 and about the $2.06, $8, $9 neckline support that we're fighting and drastically trying not to break on the XRP. This is why the price will flush if you get too far below this neckline support like it did back here. The same thing is it'll skyrocket if you could have breached any one of these areas right there above the 255 area, because there's not a lot of volume support there if you look at our indicator, right? And that's the very important thing. We were telling you better buying opportunities were coming. And by better buying opportunities, you can see what we've already had here if we can find our industry exclusive measuring tool. Let's find out how we do this on here. So we're going to click. So that's how we're going to do this. I've never used the measuring tool on here. So this is how we get our industry exclusive measuring tool up. We come up to where we want. We were telling you better buying opportunities. And you can see the better buying opportunities. It's been down as much as 52.33%. And at current price, it's still down 37.52% from the top. Better buying opportunity. But what I believe is going to happen is we're coming down to this $1.29. The volume has been consistently getting suppressed in the daily time frame. And I believe that technical target in XRP is going to happen. Does it have to happen? It does not have to, because I cannot predict the future. And the critical thing you need to watch here is when it flushes back below this neckline support and confirms this as resistance, that's how you know the match is going way to the downside, because as soon as it flips that, as soon as it confirms that as a major resistance, you're going to come immediately down to the cycle low of $1.61 and eventually at $1.29, where that would be a great accumulation zone. And then potentially, I'm speculating, in the future, we could even come down into this range, the 69 cents, all the way into this 89 or 90 cents golden accumulation pocket that I'm pointing at. And that would be when you max accumulate again, not up here during this massive rally. You do not accumulate under that massive rally under any circumstance. If we go into the AMP, another one that's been a heartfelt disappointment. It's one of the ones that runs on its own accord. This is the pattern that we currently thought we were in, where we got this topping out pattern coming up. We got our underneath support. We were double bottoming on that underneath support, which we're hoping we're going to do. And if we can meander back up into these moving averages, right? The 50, the 100, the 200, get back on top of that fight and cloud and scratch your way above that, and then end up back up in here in a couple of weeks to a couple of months. Or we got to come down like the track shows in the background before it starts to head to the upside and hit that 2.5 to 5 cent target. We got to come into here first, and maybe we got to come down and have a quick capitulation and come down to the 00246. So that's what I'm watching out for. Kwame Brown Bus Life, he's got a really good channel. It just happened to pop up. I got no affiliation with him, but Kwame Brown Bus Life, like the channel, he's a good guy on there. He speaks the truth, talks about the go along, get along game, right? If you don't know what it is, it has something to do indirectly with the manipulated markets at the highest levels. But check out Kwame Brown, give him a shout out. Maybe he'll give me a shout out, but I like his channel. That's why it popped up there. I listened to it. ALGO, and if you don't know who he is, he's a former #1 overall draft pick. Just says this is the #1 cryptocurrency for the retail trader and investing side, even though I'm not a financial advisor. But if we look at the ALGO price, it's the same thing. We were telling you the ALGO price. Let's just make sure this is still recording and I'm not talking to myself and to try to timestamp at 13 minutes. Make sure it's not too long. But the ALGO is another thing. We told you with the first mover advantage, and again, videos, I cannot stress this enough to support the channel, to get the movement going, to get into the YouTube algorithm, because we've been suppressed and shysted down at the ground level to keep our channel from going up near the moon for speaking the truth. If you were watching this channel back here in November and December, when we were up here, I was getting a lot of comments, a lot of super chats to try to get me to talk about what I thought was going to happen here quickly. And I told you the bottom part of this green support and resistance zone, and these should be color coded, in this green, close enough, in this support resistance zone, that when we came back up here for the first time, you were going to get rejected. And you were going to come back near the 0.36 or the 36 cent level down here, which you quickly wicked down to, and the 50-day and the daily was there. And we told you if you broke this, you were going to come straight back to the bottom part of this, which was at about, what is that at about? Let's touch that. About 23 cents, just below 24 cents, because that's how these resistance box works. They shoot straight through them to the next one, and they shoot straight back down through them to support, and you can see how it wicked beautifully there, right on the support, just as it hit the support up here at the top part of that. But then we were telling you we were extremely bearish back here when we came on board here, and we laid out this 20-cent target and then a 10-cent target. And we've been as low as about 14.75 cents. Then we had to pump back up to this major upper resistance at about 24, 25 cents, the bottom part of that red zone. And we said it would be resistance now and get rejected. It did. Came back down to the 20 cent that we thought it would, got rejected. And now I believe we're coming down to the 10 cents in the ALGO. And that would be a time where you accumulate. You don't accumulate at 50 cents, just as an XCN. I didn't know anything about this coin. I still don't. The only reason it's on here is Jabroni Killers and you guys want me to talk about it. But it was on the middle of a 30x move. And I said, you never buy a 30x move. You're going to get slaughtered. You're going to get fleeced, Vincenzo. You're going to get fleeced. And that's going to happen to you. And they're going to stop on you with all the fucking money and laugh at you as you buy a 30x pump. Because what's going to happen? It's going to tank. It might not be that minute, that hour, that day, or that week, but it's going to tank as it hits that blow off top. That's just the way any market cycle works. It's called accumulation, pump, blow off top, capitulation to the downside, bear market, right? And we told you not to buy there, that the price was coming down. And we had an initial target of down here, and then it came back up on this pump. And we said, watch this major upper resistance at up here at about the 20, what is that up here? About the 22 cents, the bottom part, there's my numbers, the bottom part of this major resistance zone, which is the bottom part of this light red or light pink resistance box. And we told you it'd get rejected, and it did once, twice, and 3 times. And every time it got rejected, we told you to watch out for this 0.014 cents, which where it would come back down to, because that's your next support box. And then along the 200-day and the daily, it's trying for dear life to hold that, but I believe we're coming to the 00795 after in the longer term. I think we talked about the Bitcoin. Let's talk about the XLM. This video is getting quite long and I'm going to have to let you go. But you can see the XLM, another first mover advantage that we gave Jabroni Killer members all the way back here, just after the grayscale filing. This was the grayscale filing on a Friday night. It came out, a year-end filing about the positions they held. We had 150% 24-hour pump to 63 cents, and we went immediately, like that, flipped it to short to medium-term bearish, put down a 25-cent underneath price target, put down that we were going to have all these bearish crosses where the 50 up here gets below the 100 or the medium-term moving average. But look at the spread you had. Then we told you were going to have a golden bearish cross where the 50 was going to get below the 200. Look at the spread on that. And that eventually did happen all the way back here. But we got short to medium-term bearish, put the underneath price targets down at 25, 18, which is a slight accumulation zone, and then a big accumulation zone at 14 cents. And we made that call when the price of XLM with the first mover advantage, the unpopular opinion, and the reason this channel doesn't get its footing is because we tell you the truth that you need to get mass accumulation and become an asset millionaire and joining me along my journey, which is very important to get that net worth and your assets to millionaire status, because that is a good standard of living to be at. We got short to medium term bearish. We ended up back here. Now we're on the thrust and the precipice of confirming this as a major resistance zone, an area and a flip to a major resistance zone from what it's been since November right here. Support, 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 support all through February, January, March, April, May, and June, and now. And now it's just now attempting to flip it as major resistance. If it does, you immediately come to 18 cents, followed by the 14 cents, and potentially somewhere around the 10-cent level, but the official forecast are for those two things to hit. Remember to join Jabroni Killers, $3.99 a month. Join me on our goal with me and you as a journey member and a participant to Asset Millionaire, and that's our goal with truth, trust, education, and information. Please heist and shice the market manipulators. Peace and love, the Rex Eyebrow. J80.